What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel, Papa Dub Breaks. As you can see, I'm rocking my Bluey Dad shirt. A little bit different format here, a little bit more podcast style video for you today on Papa Dub Breaks. And today I'm going to be giving you my sports card market predictions for the year 2023-24. We're already halfway into 2023, so it didn't feel right. We got Wemby coming out soon, which is going to be crazy. So just kind of some of my ideas of where I see the hobby going and some of the hiccups and pitfalls that we might run into as well as we get into this year. So as many of you guys know, the sports card market is a little down right now. You're seeing everything from vintage big hits that were selling for crazy amounts during pandemic levels coming down. The 101 superfractors, people buying them, trying to flip them, selling it for less after the fact. So it's really kind of a volatile time, I would say. I feel like for the last 2 years, you go into any Walmart or Target and you see tons of sports cards out still available for sale. Whether we're talking Prism, Select, all of these things that you go back to 2020, there would not be a card on that shelf. So clearly the interest is going down a little bit, and you can blame some of the rookie classes that we've been having, the lack of quarterbacks, the lack of star basketball players. Scotty Barnes was hot, had a bad second year, but really I think it comes down to the manufacturers with what Panini's doing, what Topps is doing. Some of these companies to really just up their profits is all they're trying to do. So to kind of take it back a step there, my predictions for 2023-24, I think we'll still continue to see a slowdown heading into the fall months. I think you're seeing that a lot with the stock markets, and you're seeing it with just people not having as much extra change to spend on investing or whatnot. Bad name. Whatnot. Maybe that's why they named it that. Anyway, I think that, the more that they're producing, the more that stays on shelves, and the less interested people get. Like, there's definitely a scarcity, kind of like toilet paper, where it was like, oh, go get Pokemon cards. You can sell them online because there's no packs anywhere. Well, now there's packs everywhere, and I've been seeing it a lot more with the sports cards starting out, but now you're starting to see it bleed into TCG as well. So I think we're still going to slow down. You'll have your baseball hits. Football is coming out, so that seems like it's really popping right now. I've ap a few cards to list for that as well. But I think it's this all-encompassing market that we got to talk about, because if Panini and Topps were to print less, that would be way beneficial for us, the consumer, for the investor, for the people who want to buy that card and hold it for long term. But they're not going to do that, right? So I think it's about using our spending power wisely. I think it's about buying the sets that you like and you want to see continued, because they're up to like 30, 40, 50 sets each, Topps and Panini for each brand. And it reminds me a lot of like the NCAA football game, where once that went away, Madden just didn't give a crap. Like, because these companies are making so much money and it's only the licensed products that people really want, you're seeing them kind of have this, well, print it anyway, they'll buy it. We know that they'll buy it. So I think something like Topps Gallery, right? I was tricked into buying a box at Walmart because I was like, oh, wow, a different Topps set, cool. Nope, it's just the junk set that they've sold at Walmarts for years and years. So I think as those types of products continue to no longer have a niche, and people have this realization that it's the base cards don't really make you anything anymore. I have this vision of people who have kept their Willie Mays cards, or the Honus Wagners or whatever for 40, 50 years, and now those things are crazy prices. Well, now just having a paper copy of a card doesn't get you anything, even if it's their rookie card, even if it's graded in a 10 or BGS 10 pristine. It's only going to be worth about $50 to $100. So you've got all these cards, let alone base cards, and the fact that sets like Prism only give you 4 cards and 3 of them are base. Like, there's so much base cards to where now the rookie cards are junk too, unless you have the chrome card of that rookie. And it's getting to the point where even the chrome card of that rookie, you might still only get $50 for. So now you need to get the out of 1,000, and then you need to get the out of 100, and it's just going to keep bleeding. But the reason for that is it's all this like social media hype about sports cards and Pokemon to that degree too. It's this card is worth $10,000. They want you to have that super expensive card that you get graded and is worth $100,000, and that's what everyone's chasing after. That's the reason people buy packs of sports cards at retail, even knowing that the prices and the value that you're likely going to get out of it isn't there. It's that hope that you'll pull the 1-of-1 Drew Jones refractor and blah blah blah, whatever the bounty was that they put on that, right? So I get why they're doing it, because it's us telling them, hey, we want the more expensive cards. We don't want 100 chrome LeBron cards worth, $10,000 each. We want one of one. Well, really, it's like 7 1-of-1s with the jersey tags and all this stuff. It's ridiculous, right? But where does it go from here? So I think it's kind of twofold. So I think a lot of hype is going to return to the hobby once you have Wemby out and once you have Caleb Williams from USC. I think if he's playing really hot and they're in national title contention this year, while Wemby is getting introduced in the league in September, October, November, you're going to see sports cards and the hype, the anticipation for the release of some of their cards just continue to rise and rise and rise. And maybe we're still in that off point where Panini hasn't recognized that they're losing a bunch of money. Maybe they aren't losing money because Walmart and all these distributors are buying their product and putting it on shelves and letting it sit there for months and months and months. Maybe it's working, right? I don't know their financials, but my hope is that they'll recognize what this hobby is about. They'll slow down their print runs. My brother sent me something. Apparently they printed 1/5 of all Pokemon cards in 2022. That sounds just like during the pandemic when they printed 1/5 of the world's currency in 2020. So it's got to slow down and otherwise, like Pokemon cards, sports cards, basketball cards, doesn't matter. It's not going to be worth anything. If they print 1 million of them and you have not even a numbered card or anything, like I've got a few of my select cards, even some of these like NBA hoops, like why even have this card? I could sell it for $1.50. I could get it graded and sell it for $30. Maybe Keegan Murray ends up being the best player ever, but even still, it won't be worth thousands of dollars at that point because they printed 1 million of these. And I don't get into the math of like print runs and all that stuff. You can find much better people online that will go into that. But the numbers are staggering. And the amount of wax that's getting graded is staggering too. If you look at, obviously everyone, like the meme of it all is the Zions, the Jaws, how many of those PSA 10s exist, let alone the 9s, the 8s and back. But I think you see PSA raise their prices too. I wasn't there for back when they were like $8 or $10, whatever you guys claim, why we have all these Kyle Lewis PSA 10s that are worth $10. I don't get it. But I feel like that's what sparked them to raise their prices and have these monthly specials. I know with TCG, they took away the $15 a month grader, and they just got so much backlash that they brought it back within like 3 or 4 days. So I think they're going to keep testing it. You're starting to see it with how they're running these quarterly specials. Whether it's, now they have a 1960s only one, or they're trying to get people to put in their oversized cards to get graded, or autograph authentication, I think is what their specials are this month. They have so many cards that are getting sent to them, and a lot of them are these paper BS, never going to be worth anything, so they'll give them a 10. But then what I'm seeing is they're getting so many cards, they're gatekeeping 10s. So like a card that's in perfect condition, makes no sense to not be a 10. They're like, well, we already have 10,000 of these. Let's be a little bit more strict with them moving forward. Okay, well, I actually have a 10, and you gave a 10 to somebody who sent in, 1,000 cards, and it should have been a 9, kind of a thing. And you see people griping about their PSA grades all over the place. I'm not here to do that. I just think that they're going to test the waters with upping it to $18 on a special or $20 on a special. They already did that. I took advantage when I got all those 86 cards graded. These guys right here, I paid $18, and look at the grades I got back. I might as well have done that because that's what they're worth. A 6, Don Mattingly. A 7. 8. Woo, an 8. This would have been a $1,000 card and a 10. 8. And I get that these are a different example because it's 86. I literally waited. I didn't wait, but they sat on a shelf for 30 years until I finally opened them. But some of them, like this 8, where I've seen 10s in this exact card where the spacing left to right hasn't been as even. So all in all, they are, in my opinion, gatekeeping certain grades of cards. They get a crap ton of submission for. I have a hypothesis that they only give you a set amount of money, right? So like you send in 100 cards and 50 of them should be 10s, but of those 50, some are really high value cards. That'd be the ones that you get a 9 in, whereas the low value cards are the ones you get a 10 in, because not as many people send those in. So they're like, sure, what do we care if we give this guy a 10 in this? He's only going to make $50 off us, you know? So I think grading mixed with, I think they'll increase their prices, which will decrease the amount of people submitting cards. So maybe that 10 in a base card can be worth something. I see these companies, Panini, changing how they do things. I think they did a charity auction for these like 1-of-1 refractors, aka you could have opened these up in a pack that you bought from us, but we set this aside so that way we could profit and really just donate it to help out with their taxes, right? So I think as that continues on a donation basis or a charity basis, it becomes the norm to where now it's just what they do. And you want that 1-of-1 superfractor? Hey, why are we letting these kids that open these packs and find it in retail profit off of this? No, let's list it on our website for 10 grand for the 1-of-1. And if that 10 grand goes to 20 grand, that person should still be happy because they made a profit off of us, rather than just hiding it. Like low key, what I wish they would do is just stop printing base cards, period. Limit the amount of sets that they have. Like I'm talking Topps Chrome, Topps Finest, like Bowman Chrome, obviously, like 3 or 4 or 5 quality sets, maybe even getting out of the retail space, just doing hobby boxes, up the price by $20, print way less total cards because you don't have all the base that comes in the retail packaging. And then hopefully that returns some value to these cards, because at the end of the day, that's what it is. We hold these because we want to be able to show it to somebody, talk about the experience of collecting it, the money that went into it, whether we bought it on eBay for $2, got it graded, now it's a $200 card, Shohei, or it's a card that you bought for, you know, $30 because it was graded, and now you find out it's only worth $15. Cam Akers. Anyway, that's kind of my thoughts on the sports card market. I think we're going to see an increase once Caleb Williams and Wemby are out. I think we've got to see some kind of slowdown in the grading process. I think we're going to see a slowdown in the manufacturing process as well, I hope. And you should start seeing some of those vintage cards go back up in value, hopefully, once this market skyrockets with Wemby out. So comment below any feedback, thoughts, whether you like this format, want to see me do more podcasts, and like, comment, subscribe. Thanks, guys.